Welcome to the series, How to Turn a Steel Barrel into an Offset Smoker with John Stanford. In this episode, John shows how to build an acid bath to remove mill scale from steel so it can be used in the smoker.
Okay, we're going to prepare this steel to take the mill scale off. As you can see, the steel is this dull gray, sort of black mattish color, compared to say stainless steel, which does not have mill scale on it, which is bright and shiny. Now the mill scale will prevent it from being painted, but will not prevent it from rusting out. So I got to get rid of the mill scale. And there's two ways to do this. One is with grinding, but it's just too big an area, so we got to use what we call acid bath. Now you can use either strong acid or weak acid. The beauty of strong acid, it works in like 10-15 minutes, but it has a rash, you splash on you, you get acid burns, get in your nose, it screws up your nose. It's dangerous stuff to use. On the other hand, if we use a weak acid, like acetic acid, which is basically vinegar, then there's none of that danger. It just takes a little bit longer, but we gotta have to leave it sit overnight. So what I'm gonna show is how I make this bath to let the steel sit overnight. And what I do, I took these four by 4s, I put them together, and then I'm going to put some plastic in here that'll keep the vinegar in place, and we'll just let it cook overnight. You just want to make sure you don't get any holes in it, or your vinegar will leak all over your garage floor. Okay, that's that. And then now what I do, I put a couple of bolts down to keep the steel off the bottom of it, so that the vinegar is underneath it. I just use these lock nuts. And I just put 4 of them down. And then it's a matter of taking the steel and putting it in here. Okay, here's our vinegar, and we're just going to pour this in here. Now we just let the steel sit overnight and let the vinegar work its magic. Now my garage has a nice aroma of vinegar in it, and it's time to wash off the mill scale. Look how that goes off. Oh, this is great. Okay, now we've got our steel all cleaned off and got the mill scale off it. Now we got 2 gallons of vinegar sitting on top of my workbench. Now how am I going to get this off without spilling it all over the place? Well, I use a thing called the siphon, which works really good. But just like in bending the rebar, it works much better if 2 people do it, so I'll show you how we're going to do that. I use just a simple piece of plastic tubing. It doesn't have to be really big diameter. And what we do is we put this in the bath like that, and you have the Kelly hold it down. And then we get this siphon totally filled with fluid. Put it out here, and you're in business. So keep on going until the whole thing's drained out. Okay, now we've got this steel, got all the mill scale off, and just in the last few minutes, this rust has started to form on this bare steel. So we got to get that off, and then we'll prime the whole thing and have it be all done in about 5 minutes. But first, we got to get this rust off. We can now put a coat of primer on it, and it's ready to be used as the back wall of the firebox.